Mark has two basic types of action, predetermined and randomly chosen. For example, his sleep pattern runs to a set timetable. The machine running Mark C10 uses the network time protocol to obtain UTC and make the necessary adjustments to keep its internal clock precisely correct. Almost too correct for this peaceful forest scene. Mark's timetable isn't complex. A schoolchild's account of his summer holiday would have more detail. Wake in the morning at 6 o'clock, sleep in the evening at 18 o'clock, nap in between from 12 o'clock to 13 o'clock. The newborn Mark A00 had been a single squirrel with a timetable no more complicated than this. Indeed, Mark A00 had been that timetable. Now things are more complicated, with separate timetables for weekdays and weekends and holidays. But apart from these predetermined rules, Mark's actions are selected more or less at random. The number of actions increases steadily with each upgrade, but the way they are chosen remains essentially the same as rolling a die. He requires an accurate clock to stay in sync with other squirrels, but Nomi isn't even sure whether that itself is really necessary. It seems doubtful to him that squirrels themselves feel a need for a consistent timeline, and yet without one, the life they share in the forest might not be possible. So naturally, Mark's life is not completely unorganized. There is an order to all things, and uncertain though Mark's world is, it has its rules and principles like any other. For example, suppose you decide with no particular urgency to go to the bathroom. Ignoring minor variations, broadly speaking, you would proceed as follows. Open the door, step inside, close the door, open the lid, sit down, do your business, stand up, wipe, close the lid, open the door, step outside, and close the door. This is a standard practice, a regulation in exchange for which you receive safe passage through the world you call home. Some personal discretion is permitted. You may not need to close the lid. If you were to sit down before closing the door, well, who would complain? But there are limits. Doing your business before closing the door is frowned upon. Doing your business without opening the lid would be a disaster. The order of the world would be shattered. You would never find peace again. In the same way, Mark is also designed not to do anything too outrageous. He doesn't bury nuts he hasn't picked up. He doesn't direct his mating ritual at the sky. All things are subject to sequence and order. It couldn't be otherwise. You could say that Mark is just playing a slightly more complex version of Chutes and Ladders. Each move he makes is decided by a roll of the dice. The piece called Mark moves back and forth on a sort of obstacle course. Impressionistically, suppose the action run has been selected at random from his action table. The next thing to be decided also randomly will be the direction he runs in, then the distance, or the number of steps. Mark's actions during his periods of freedom are decided in this way, just like those of the other squirrels.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.